right, Mr. TALIAFERRO TV, how's everybody doing out there? First and foremost, I want to congratulate Future on another successful project. Look, we can say all we want about Future. You can say he fell off, the sound ain't what it was in 2015, whatever. But right now, his new project, Wizard, is on pace to sell about 120 to 130,000 first week. That is a strong number to put on the board first quarter 2019. So yeah, congratulations to Epic and everybody involved in Future's team. That's a strong first week number, bro. 120, 130. And don't get me wrong, Future did a lot of press on this album, more than we've ever expected him to do. But let's just call a spade a spade. Not too many 30 and up rappers can do 100 first week at this point in their careers. Like once you get past the Kendrick's around 30, right? Get past the Coles, the Drakes of the world, the Meeks of the world. When you get into that second tier of artists who can do 130 first week, that's a very small list. And congratulations to Future. Again, that's the projections as of Monday. He's got a few more days to maybe pace forward, over that 130 pace. So he might end up around 150 by the end of the week. So Future's got this new album. By the way, off that project, I don't like a lot of the records on it. I haven't gotten through the whole album, but I like that joint with Travis Scott. Like a rocket. I like that joint right there. Anywho, TALIAFERRO, get back to the point. I was watching Future do interviews. Now, in the mix of Future's interviews, there was a couple times where Future seemed uncomfortable. I liked the interview that he did with Rob Markman over there with Rap Genius. He looked pretty comfortable in that one. But there was a couple times I was like, yeah, you can tell Future don't really like talking to the press like that, talking to the media like that. It was kind of off and on, right? Now, one interview that Future felt very comfortable in was this Beats One interview. Now, Future's over there on Apple as well. He's got a little deal over there with Apple. And he was able to pretty much do his own radio show for a night or two. And he brought in one of his guys, I believe a guy from Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken, a personality in Atlanta, to do an interview with him. So he was comfortable. It was a nigga that he looked like he chops it up with behind the scenes as well. And it looked like Future was ready to, quote unquote, shoot the shit with this guy. Because they were talking about stuff that Future just was uncomfortable with talking about in other interviews, all right? Now, one person, or let's say a couple people that got brought up that Future really wasn't talking about in other interviews was his ex, Ciara, and her husband, Russell Wilson. Future had some strong comments about the two. Let's get into the interview again. This was Future's Beats One interview where he brought in somebody that he knew to do the interview for him. All right, so obviously any question that Future wanted or didn't want brought up, this guy would control that setting. Here's what Future said about Russell Wilson. He said he'd do exactly what Ciara tell him to do. All right, he said he not being a man in that position. You not telling her, bro, chill out with all that on the internet. Don't even talk to him. I'm your husband. You better not even bring Future's name up. All right. Now he went on to say, if that was me, she couldn't even bring his name up. She know that. She couldn't even bring her ex's name up. Don't get that shit no energy. It's about me. I'm taking care of everything. Now I want to go on and give y'all a couple other quotes in this interview that Future did give. And let's start with Rocco here. I just think I'm just going to go a little further with something Future said about Rocco because I believe it brings a lot of context to the person that Future is. No disrespect. When asked about Rocco, and just to break down this story as quickly as I can, Future owed Rocco at least $10 million. All right? Now, apparently, Rocco and Future couldn't settle this out behind the scenes because Future just didn't want to pay Rocco. So what ended up happening is Rocco ended up suing Future. Rocco claims that Future was signed to A1, back on 2011, only on the condition that he will release his first 6 albums through the label. He did not do that. He went on to ink a deal with Epic Records and received millions in advance. When Future started getting that money from Epic, he just kicked A1 to the side and never completed the deal that Rocco helped get him. Now at that point, Rocco's like, you owe me money, at least $10 million. Now, again, Rocco took it to court. They got into a legal dispute and they finally settled it. Reportedly, it was about a 7-figure bag that Future had to pay Rocco, and it pissed Future off. So here's what Future said about Rocco in this situation. He said, you don't sue nobody where we come from. The honor that we have on our name, where you come from, you shouldn't ever sue no one, but you shouldn't sue your brother. All right? So he's saying Rocco should have never took it to court. As a matter of fact, he said Rocco got to apologize to him if there was a chance for reconciliation in the future. I wanted, no pun intended, by the way. All right. I wanted to go there with that quote because I thought it brought a little context to how Future approached these interviews. If you really go back and look at the interviews that Future did on his last press run, in every situation, I kid you not, Future never has any blame in it. He never has any blame in it. Look, man, I get it. I've been around rappers, a lot of them. In their world, they are the biggest thing. Should they feel like that? Absolutely. They're the breadwinners. They do everything for their teams, right? They do everything. If they're the engine that makes this ship go. If they not at the spot where they can provide for their team, if they're not producing records and making money for other people, everything falls down the drain. I get why Future looks at his team and says, yo, y'all pretty much yes man to me. And again, I'm not trying to get personal with his team, but let's just call a spade a spade. In Future's world, he is the most important guy. He's running that ship. Now, backpedal a little bit to how he approached his interviews. You can tell that Future doesn't have a lot of people telling him no. You can just tell, like, in every situation, he never gets any blame. I'm looking at how he approached the situations. Yo, you talked about Rocco. Like, if you owe me 10 mil, right, and we come from the hood, you had no problems telling half the truth. Like you said, we from the streets, we don't sue each other. That's a rule. But damn, Future, if you my brother, right? Because you telling half that truth. If you my brother and you mad at me for suing you, can't I say the same thing to you? Like, I should have never had to get to the point where we go to the court. Because if you owe me money, you know the respectable and commendable thing to do is not to ignore the money that you owe me, but pay me, my nigga. Like, that's the same principle. I'm not mad at Future for saying it's a street code and ethic that we don't take it to the courtrooms. You don't go near them people because they get in your business. I'm fine with that. If that's the rule, let's ride by that rule. But the other part of that is you don't put your nigga in no bad situation like that. That's part of the rule as well. That's the other 50%. And Future ain't speak on that shit at all. I listened to the interview in totality. That just tells me a little bit where Future's headed at. Let's go back to this Russell Wilson situation, right? I watch a lot of interviews. Maybe Ciara is too mainstream for me and I missed one of her interviews. Over the last 3 or 4 years, I've yet to hear Ciara bring Future's name up in an interview. Maybe I'm missing something. I'm acknowledging to the people, y'all, Pharaohs, I could be missing something. I don't hear Ciara bring this man's name up like that. Look, man, I rock with Future. I ain't a part of the Hive, but I rock with Future. I think he's a talented artist. He's the leader of the trap era, to me right now at least. And again, the last interview I've seen Ciara talk about Future in a public setting was in 2015. I think she was on the Today Show, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm missing anything, y'all please talk to me and tell me in the comment box below. I just don't hear Ciara talking about Future's name like that. I've actually heard more clips of Future talking about Russell Wilson or Ciara more in video interviews than the opposite. As a matter of fact, we ain't gonna forget that Future ain't dropped the Purple Rain mixtape before the Seattle Seahawks playoff game a couple years back. We gonna act like that shit ain't. Future has shot his shot at being petty at Russell Wilson in the past, and y'all know it like I know it. Every time Future has tried to get Russell Wilson's attention, that dude has taken the high road every damn time. All right, so to me, the juggler is in effect as well. To me, if I'm Russell Wilson, at some point a man gotta still be a man and be like, yo, you put me in a bad spot. You keep bringing up my wife's name. You keep bringing up my name, and I'm trying my best to ignore you. The only reason why you keep bringing my name up like that is you know I'm a God-fearing man, and you know I'm really not trying to go physical with you because that ain't my character. Man, if this was a street nigga let's just call it what it is. Y'all know I ain't lying. If it was a street nigga that Ciara was with, ain't no way in hell Future would have ever in her life. If it was a street nigga NFL player, do you genuinely believe Future would be dropping a mixtape before this nigga game? Man, I'm not lying about this shit. I'm just calling it how I see it. Niggas like to pick on niggas they know who ain't gonna do nothing back. And y'all know Russell Wilson gonna go get on Instagram and dance his little ass off in front of that damn Nintendo Wii with his family before he does anything or responds any way to Future. That's just not his character. That's just not what he gonna do. And I get it. If I'm Future, hey man, I might have to feel a way about you kissing my kid, all that shit. I don't got nothing to do with that. I ain't going personal with that. That's not my league. But I'm like, damn, come on, Future. I don't see them bringing up your name like that. Now, one person that took offense to Future, this is random as hell, One person that took offense to Future dissing Russell Wilson and Ciara was Fox Sports analyst Shannon Sharp. Y'all know Shannon Sharp, that ain't no problem. Mr. Black and Miles. Before the segment, he works with Skip Bayless on a very successful show called Undisputed that I watch every day. And somebody asked him straight up and down, yo, hey, Unc, because Shannon Sharp is our cool uncle, right? He is our uncle. He said, you listen to that new Future yet? And Shannon Sharp said, I'm not listening to his music again until he stops hating on Russ and C. He needs to get the fuck out his feelings. All right? He went on to say, a fan asked him, gotta admit, CC was kind of out of pocket, whole raised son with the next man shade, whatever. Shannon said, how many kids does he have since C? Fuck out of here with that. Look at Shannon, the old uncle that want to keep it real. All right? He keep it real about your life more than he keep it real about his own life. Y'all know that uncle. He said, be glad she found a man that loves his son and treats him good. He went on to say he thought she would let him do his thing, sit around and wait. She married an NFL player and he caught feelings. Both of y'all should let it go. All right? I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm kind of agreeing with old Unc. I'm with old Uncle Shay Sharp. It does seem like homie Future in his feelings a little bit. Again, he has that right because a kid is involved, but man, let's call it what it is, bruh. It's the old story. Look, man, as much money as rappers make, and it is a nice amount of money, it ain't that NFL starting quarterback money. We don't get a lot of black quarterbacks. Russell Wilson is one of few. All right? So pretty much the point I'm trying to make is only too many niggas that could be smashing y'all exes out here. All right? My list of quarterbacks that could be smashing y'all chicks, y'all exes: Phillip Rivers, because that nigga got 9 kids. Number 10 is on the way. Cam Newton. And shit, maybe Russell Wilson. All right? And it looks like just when we're talking about that NFL quarterback money, we talking 25, 30 million a year, baby. All due respect to Future, I heard the record with Travis Scott. I told y'all I like it. He said, I made more money than Dwayne Wade, baby. He couldn't have changed that line to I made more money than Russell Wilson, baby, because that would be a lie. I would call bullshit on that lyric immediately, because he ain't make more money than Russell Wilson last year, the starting quarterback with the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm just saying, I think there might be a little bit of jealousy there. But to be fair, niggas be hating on niggas all the time. If you're going to be jealous of somebody, at least be jealous at the fact that your baby mama might have moved on to a new popping God-fearing ex. I'm fine with that. I might be jealous of that situation my damn self, all right? Thank y'all so much for the time, love, and support. I don't take it for granted. I make more money than Dwayne Wade, baby. I make more money than Russell. I can't even use that, boy. I don't even sound right. Thank y'all so much for the time, love, and support. I don't take it for granted. Salute. I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
All the kids, they are now tuned in.
Yo, we locked in right now, Mr.
TALIAFERRO.
Mr. TALIAFERRO.
Shout out to Mr. TALIAFERRO.
You're watching Mr. TALIAFERRO TV.
Mr. TALIAFERRO TV. Here with the triple B's, you can't do nothing but win.